I'd just retired, and my husband, who'd always insisted we'd be dinks, told me he was bringing his 2 children home. There wasn't a hint of guilt in his eyes, only a sense of profound relief. I didn't scream, and I wasn't shocked. I simply looked up at him, a knowing smile tugging at the corners of my mouth. He clearly hadn't expected me to be this composed. He faltered for a moment before regaining his self-righteous posture. "It's only natural for a man to want to carry on his legacy," he said. "I've played along with your lifestyle long enough. I've done my duty. Now, I have to do right by my children and their mother." The moment the words left his mouth, he slid a divorce settlement across the table. "Just sign it. I've already booked the flights. I'm taking Linda and the kids on a trip around the world to make up for all the years they missed out on." I picked up the pen without a second thought, signing my name in steady, deliberate strokes. I pushed the papers back, stood up to smooth my skirt, and gracefully stepped aside. I didn't look back as I walked out of the house I'd called home for 30 years. Once news of the divorce broke, I became the object of everyone's pity. To be cast aside at her age, an elderly neighbor whispered, facing her golden years alone, "It's just tragic. Michael Carter is a total piece of work." A young college student in my building ranted on my behalf. He swore he never wanted kids so they could just focus on each other, and now his kids are grown and ready to give him grandkids. Even my old friends couldn't help but sigh. "You were so sharp back then, so successful and independent, but you chose the childless life, and now you're left with nothing but silence." My parents even tried to talk me out of it. "If you stay married, those kids are yours by law. They'd have to look after you when you're old. We could die in peace knowing you're cared for." They all assumed I'd been blindsided, that I was heartbroken and destined for a lonely end, that my entire life had become a cruel joke. I didn't bother explaining myself or refuting them. The truth of our situation would reveal itself when the time was right. Meanwhile, Michael was basking in his new reality. He posted a family portrait on social media with the caption, "Starting today, I finally have a real home." In the photo, he stood front and center, flanked by a young man and a young woman, his face glowing with unshielded energy. The woman who had secured his legacy clung to his arm, wearing a sweet, modest smile. It was a picture-perfect family of 4, the domestic bliss Michael had apparently been craving all along. It was as if the decades he spent with me never happened, as if this little family had always been his entire world. "Now that's a man who won at life," someone commented. In a way, they were right. Michael had managed to have it both ways. In his youth, he enjoyed the freedom of a childless couple for decades, never once having to deal with midnight feedings or dirty diapers. And now, in his later years, he had 2 grown children to dote on him. How could he not be seen as a winner? He was retired now. His career and reputation were safe. He could finally go public with the woman he had hidden for 30 years and welcome his children home to play the part of the doting father. Every weekend, they even go to the local diner for classic American pancakes, a tradition Michael always said he wanted to share with his family. As for me, the discarded wife facing a solitary future, I was the one everyone felt they had to pity. But what they didn't know was that I had been ready for this. This marriage was never a one-sided sacrifice. The divorce moved quickly. So quickly, it was almost surreal. Michael drove me to the office himself. When it came time to sign the final papers, his hand didn't shake at all. Instead, he looked like a man who had just dropped a heavy pack. His movements were quick and decisive. He gave the clerk a small, practiced smile. "It's just how it goes. We've grown old, and the spark is gone. But I'm lucky. I have my children to keep me company, and a bit of family happiness to look forward to." The clerk gave me a look of deep sympathy, eyes full of silent comfort. I smiled back but said nothing. As soon as we were done, he waved his hand and hired movers to clear out the bedroom I had occupied for over 30 years. He couldn't wait another second to move Linda and his children in. I didn't argue, and I didn't bother with a lawyer. I simply took my share of the savings and my personal belongings and moved out. The day Linda moved in, I went back one last time to pick up a few remaining items.